everyone, it's Froggy, and today I'm going to be doing Jumin's ending review. So, I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying that up until a point, Jumin's good ending and his neutral ending are basically the same, so I'm just going to talk about that. You go in and you get to the party, and the first person that you see is Jaehee, and then Yoosung comes along not long after. In the good ending, Yoosung thanks you, and is in awe of how cute we are. And in the neutral ending, he complains about how there's a lack of guests, but sympathizes because of Jumin's behavior and how he's just kind of kept us at his place, so we couldn't really do anything, so he doesn't really blame us. And then he goes off, and then Zen shows up, and in the good ending, he complains about that he's blind from all of the pictures, and he complains that he's getting so much attention. And in the neutral ending, he complains that he's not getting enough attention. He's just whining about attention. He leaves, and then Seven comes in, and in both, he sees us, and he looks really gloomy, and then he says that Jumin's been looking for us, and then he takes us away from Jaehee into the main hall, and he tells us that he's been worried about us, and says, never follow a stranger again, because anything could have happened. And once we get into the party hall, he runs into V. Well, we run into V, and V, says, "Oh, it's nice to see you outside of Jumin's house." And he and Seven have a conversation about why he hasn't been answering his calls, but he's very aloof, doesn't really say very much, and says, after the party, we'll have a good long talk, we'll actually talk about it. And then in both endings, again, Glam takes the stage, and in the neutral ending, she's a little more condescending than she is in the good one, where she says, essentially, all of you lower class people are here, so this is a good chance for you to get to mingle with the higher class, the elites, so, take advantage of that. But and then she just, in both endings, starts saying about how the party is to celebrate the engagement between Jumin and Sarah. But just before she continues on with that, Jumin takes the stage and takes the mic from her, and she leaves. And now I'm going to start with just the good ending, because that's where it starts to get different. So he explains about how he never cared for the rumors. He only cared about his duty for work, but that he had fallen in love with a kind and wonderful woman. And then it pans over to Mr. Chairman, Sarah, and Glam, and they're all excited, and they're saying, "Oh, how do I look, because I'm about to take the stage," and blah, blah, blah. And Sarah starts making her way towards the stage. But then Jumin shuts that down by saying that the woman's name is Mila, or, whatever you name your MC. And then Sarah and Glam are just confused. The reporters are also confused, but they start swarming around us because he had already mentioned who we were. And Sarah is just, angry. She runs up on stage and gets all dramatic by saying, "I gave you everything!" And Jumin reveals that Sarah's last name is Choi, same as Glam, and that they're actually sisters. And then Jumin announces that he plans to sue Glam for her trickery. Jaehee's angry and calls for security to protect us from the reporters. V thinks that Jumin is going to do something very romantic soon, so he wants to stick around, even though he's, basically getting trampled because he's blind and can't see anything. And Jumin finally does get off stage, and then he comes and makes his way through the crowd and finds us and apologizes for everything. And then he takes a knee and kisses the main character's hand and proposes. And it's very sweet. So V was right. He did do something, a big grand gesture, very romantic, that he needed to see. So I just thought that ending was hilarious. The good ending's hilarious because, you get to see Sarah gets completely shut down. Everybody's freaking out because of the lawsuit. The reporters are all up in their faces. It's hilarious. I liked this ending a lot. Now for the neutral ending, after Jumin takes the stage, he makes sure that everyone knows that it's not a celebrity party, it's a charity party. And he starts talking about love and how he didn't have good social skills before finding love. And we get a lot of commentary from V and Seven throughout the whole thing. My favorite part is when they start talking about how Sarah kind of looks like a giant chiffon cake in her dress. Just very foofy. Jumin says that he wants to start a new chapter in his life by starting a family. So he decides to resign from CNR. And everyone is surprised, of course. Jaehee's super pissed off. Glam and Sarah rush on stage to stop him, but Jumin reveals again that Glam is Sarah's sister. And it's, I guess, I'm not really sure what that is. Like, sisters can't marry two people in the same family. They can't marry a father and son. Something about it being illegal. I don't know. They kind of touched on that, but I don't really know the specifics. Anyways, but they were hiding it. Jumin starts again talking about how he's going to sue Glam for hiding it in the first place. And he leaves stage, and Jaehee's upset, and she's just like, you couldn't have told me about this. I mean, what am I supposed to do now? I was your assistant. Like, what am I gonna do? You know, because her future is now up in the air with him resigning. But Jumin says, well, before all of this, I already put through the paperwork, and you have already been promoted to the department manager. And, you know, he finds us, and that's it. It ends there, and then it goes, it does the 1.5 years later, and it shows this picture, and it's us, and Jumin is working at a different company now, and we help out, and apparently we're, like, super awesome and nice, and it shows that, you know, we've been married to Jumin for a while now, because he refers to us as his wife, and in the scene, it's our birthday, and everybody wanted to throw a surprise party for us, because like I said, we're like super awesome and nice, so everyone was like, I want to give back, it's going to be great. So they throw us a big surprise party, and it's very cute. So either way, the neutral ending turned out to still be pretty good. I mean, Sarah and Glam still got shut down, they still got made fun of. But, you know, this one's a little more intense because he just goes with his feelings and completely leaves CNR because he's, you know, he wants nothing more to do with his father, basically, and is like, you know, screw this, now you can't force me to marry anyone, it's done, the end, you know, kind of thing. And then he just goes off and does whatever he wants. So the neutral ending still good. All right, so let's move on to the bad endings now. So Jumin's first bad ending, Jumin's paranoid that Glam, Sarah, or someone else will kidnap Elizabeth III, and we gave him the idea to cage her. He loves the idea, cancels his meetings, and decides to hold a new meeting with himself, Jaehee, and us. He fires his maid and refuses to let anyone, even his father, into his place. We start the meeting, and Jumin's father and Sarah arrive, thinking it's the meeting with the board of directors. Sarah insults Mila, so Mila insults her back. Sarah's pissed. We have at it once Mr. Han Sr. leaves, because it was just too much, and he was like, you know what, I don't need to be here, and he leaves. And Jumin finds it hilarious to see Sarah so mad, and we stay super cool, calm, and collected, and he is impressed so much that he hires us as the new sales manager. Honestly, this end was great. I mean, they consider it a bad ending, but, like, we just, like, tear into Sarah. It's this huge battle. It's really hilarious. There's hair pulling involved. It's great. And she's just like, well, I'm going to tell your father, and blah, 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 blah. But that doesn't go anywhere. And we're, like, this badass sales manager now who's, like, super pushy and always gets our way. So I love this ending. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite of the bad endings. So we move on to the second one. Elizabeth just went missing, and we have that visual novel mode that starts with Jumin talking about putting up flyers for her. there's several choices to make, but so you have to be needy and submissive throughout it. Jumin turns into a complete dominant in the next visual novel mode, talking about how beautiful you'll be as his prisoner. And he says he'll claim ownership over the MC again and again until she loses consciousness. Then we get this picture. And Jumin looks so dark and powerful. The MC is all tied up, and he's installed like an alarm at the end of your ropes. And he's installed like a tracking clip in your shoes, so he can always monitor where you are. And he tells you that he's loved you from the moment that you became his. It's a kind of creepy, kind of hot ending. I love Jumin's dark face, though. It was a very adult ending, but I really like it. I really like his bad endings. Okay, so we move on to the third and final ending. So this one is kind of sad to get to. From the moment that Jumin locks you in his penthouse, you have to complain about wanting to go home. Call him creepy. Even say that he's got a mental illness. You try to escape while Jumin isn't home, but the guard stops you. Jumin tries to be nice to you, telling you that he wants to protect you from the hacker, but you continue to be mean. V comes by and he says that V comes by and he's got Elizabeth. V tries to trade Elizabeth for the MC, but Jumin's not interested. V says everything with the hacker's over and we're all safe, but Jumin doesn't trust him. Jumin wants to keep me and argues to keep us there, but even V starts saying that he's got issues and threatens to call the police for kidnapping her. Finally, we get to leave. We go home, but Unknown is there. His last instruction is to press the switch from inside Rika's apartment, and he blows us both up. So, this one was actually bad. And sad. I feel for Jumin. I mean, we said all these really nasty things and all he wanted to do was protect us. I really, really hated that. So this ending was the only one that I found to be horrible. And the second one is still bad, you know? It's kind of like Toma-esque, but like, at least we're not in a cage. I mean, we are, but it's like a big enough cage. I don't know. It's different. It's a different form of, I don't know, confinement, different form of abuse. But I don't know, this third ending just got to me, because I felt so horrible saying these things to him, felt so bad, and I just wanted to hug him. Even V started turning against him, saying he's got mental problems. Is just, it was depressed. And then we died. We were a horrible, horrible person, and then we died. This is just bad. So, anyways, overall, I loved Jumin's route. He's a great character. He's very interesting, very, robotic, antisocial at first, but then he turns out to be this really sweet guy who doesn't know how to deal with his emotions, and I just love that. And the majority of his endings were very interesting and very fun. And he's just super handsome. So I really, really enjoyed this route. I did. So starting tomorrow, we're going to be working through Zen's route. I hope you guys are excited for that, because I do like Zen's route. Probably least out of everybody else, but I still like it quite a bit. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. If you want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.